All right, hey everybody, welcome along to the Monkey Barrel Comedy Chat Show. I'm your host, George Fox, and we've got a wonderful guest this week. It's the wonderful Gareth Waugh.
Hello.
That's good.
That's good.
That's good. I like to review and rate every person that comes on, their little welcome in. I like that. You didn't stand up and do a little lap for yourself. You just said, "Hey, how's it going?"
You know what? I had to really stop myself. I wanted to do the lap. Yeah, I wanted to do a lot of these shaky hands to the side. That needs to come back. That's a really old school thing.
That very much is, yeah. But it's always by yourself.
The clasp. I don't know if this is predominantly audio based, but it's like the hand clasp shake to either side. Like, thank you.
I mean, we have an audio version of it, but I like them to miss so much.
Yeah,
I like them to feel bad for that.
I like to come on a podcast and do a visual gag straight away, just to weed out the weak.
So, to explain the way the show works for yourself, or people watching the show for the first time, Monkey Barrel Comedy Club, one of the biggest comedy clubs in the world, has wonderful people visiting every week doing tour shows. This is a place where we can sit down, have a chat with them, ask them questions from other comedians, from members of the public, from our previous guest, and kind of get to know them a little bit better. Not your obvious questions, not how did you get into comedy?
Yeah,
but
right.
things like a horse-sized rat or a rat-sized horse.
Is that like for a fight or to?
You can do whatever you want.
Well, I don't know about that. There's a lot of laws, and there's not a lot that I'd like to admit on record.
Not on this podcast. No laws.
I would say a rat-sized horse. That's great.
Yeah, a rat-sized
more of those.
Sounds perfect. But very annoying if you've ever had a rat in your attic. Now try to imagine that with the clip-clop of a horse. Way worse.
Yeah. You could get the shoes off, man. Stomping around in heels up there. Roscoe and I used to often talk about what makes an animal scary, and we decided legs. I think he eventually did it on stage. We're like, if it's got 2 legs, absolutely fine.
Yeah.
4, all right, still mostly good. Anything above 4 is scary.
Yeah.
And then we used to say, like, if the spider had 2 legs and it was just running about on 2 little legs, you'd be like, oh, look at that wee guy. That's great. Snakes, no legs, scary again.
Oh, wow, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
What a weird bell
2 little
curve
legs
that
on a
is.
snake, you'd be like, what is that? Love that guy.
Love that guy. 8 legs on a snake. Oh, no.
Too many. It's too many.
That just
But
looks like
I think if you get
9 snakes.
loads of legs, it becomes less scary again. Like a centipede, how it walks, like doing the little Mexican wave thing. I mean, that's great.
Yeah. The tiny little kind of wave going back and forth.
Nobody talks about it. What are caterpillars up to? Why? You
They're just
bending your
building up.
spine to walk?
They're just building up to being a butterfly.
Craziest way to move when you've got legs. They've got little feet. They could just potter around.
But they clearly hate it as well, because they're like, I'm going to change my entire body into a completely different creature.
Their whole thing is the haters feel them. And they're like, one day. It's real ugly duckling stuff.
Butterflies, what a turnaround that is. What a glow up butterflies.
They want to show up to their high school reunion like, look at me now! A bunch of moths there and dusty idiots.
Oh, God. And they're all just looking at the lights. Look at me. I'm the brightest light in this room.
Do you know why moths fly at lights? I found this out recently.
Oh, really? Yeah. Why?
Because people used to think they were trying to fly to like the moon or the sun. That's not true.
Okay.
The light should always be on their back, because that means that they know where the ground is.
Oh.
So they're actually flying around. Their back's always facing the light. So it's confusing them. They think they're upright, but they're not.
It's vertigo for them.
Exactly.
I like now. I have a voice in my head.
They don't believe in gravity. They believe in light. They're very much a Joe
I've their
Rogan
voice in my
guest.
head now, and it's them just go, Jesus, whoa,
What is this?
What is it? What's happening?
Yeah.
Freaking out. Moth on Joe Rogan talking about
These butterflies,
lights.
man. They're trying to get butterflies to read kids' stories in school.
Jamie, pull up that clip of the sun. People see that for a second. So for people who haven't seen you do stand-up, how would you kind of describe your stand-up? I mean, I would probably call you a storyteller.
I used to always describe myself as like, storytelling, self-referential sort of thing. It's all stuff that sort of happened. And then I think somebody described me as like wacky in a review. And I put in like my comedy group chat, I was like, be honest, am I a wacky guy? And they were like, yeah, a little bit. They're like a bit of a silly goose.
Silly goose is good. I like silly goose as a phrase.
I do sometimes throw in something a bit weird.
Yeah.
But I always thought it was just straight stand-up, classic, old school, telling yarns.
You thought you were
And
Bill
then
Hicks.
It was like the Aberdeen Comedy Festival called me, what's the word that you always use to describe like the Mighty Bush?
irreverent or surreal or
surreal. I think was one of the words. It was something along
quirky.
those like quirky. That was what it was. Quirky.
Quirky, yeah.
And I was like, "Am I quirky?" And they were like, "Yeah, a little bit."
Oh, really? Nobody wants to be told what they are, but it's like when somebody shows someone a picture and says, "Oh, look, my friend looks like you," and then they show it to you, and you're like, "What the fuck?"
The problem is, like, as a ginger person, people say that to me all the time, and it's just another ginger person, and we don't all look alike.
Yeah,
that needs said straight off.
Yeah,
it's only acceptable racism, really. Sometimes folk will show me like a guy, nothing like tall. There was one time Ray Bradshaw was on at the Edinburgh stand, and I went down just to watch. And some woman came up to me afterwards and went, "You were the best." And I wasn't on at all. And Ray's like a good foot taller than me and bald. But he's ginger. So people just went, "Oh yeah, that was the guy."
Jesus, people are insane. Especially like beards and glasses. If anyone has like a beard and glasses,
yeah, that's
like,
it.
That's you. And I go,
I know, the face shapes are different.
Yeah. I'm like, that's a Japanese woman.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Yeah. Yeah. What's she got a beard for, by the way? Let's ask that question.
I got that. I wanted to do
I know
that
it's
question
2024, but what are you doing? It used to be people would always say that you looked like Ron Weasley as a ginger person.
Yeah.
He was king of the gingers for a long time. Now it's Ed Sheeran. That's the one everyone says.
Of course. So they just get one name and they go, that's it.
Ginger gets really famous, and that's the rest of us for.
But you also don't want something other specific. You don't want something like, "Oh, you got real Kevin Spacey vibes." And you're like, why would you pick that?
It'd be nice once for a change. Just me like cutting meat in a kitchen.
Just people giving you completely different names, but it's all just wrong uns.
Yeah.
You got real Kevin Spacey, Russell Brand, Bill Cosby vibes. I don't know what it is.
No, like any of those.
No, any of those. No, thank you.
But I do see what you mean.
Yeah. They've all been described as quirky.
In like a bad way.
In a very, very bad way, yes.
Way.
So, something we do to try and get our guests relaxed in on this show is we do the social media time machine. We do a deep dive back into your past. We have a picture we're going to bring up now from your
This is how
media.
people get cancelled. What do you mean?
Here you go.
Oh, no.
Oh.
I'll tell you what's bad about this.
Yeah.
I remember this gig, right? But also, I remember tweeting not too long ago, maybe 2 years ago, "I will never take a picture with the audience behind me from the stage." Because, you know, like people always do that where they're stood on stage, like arms out, like, "Look where I've just played."
Look at the people that are happy with me.
It's a cool photo, but the setup to that is fucking crazy. Where you've got to say to the audience, "Everyone, I need you all to like wave and smile." Like, you've got to set up a photo. This gig was in the Fringe 2011, 10, maybe? No, 2011 maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe 12. And it was a huge room. It was for Best of Scottish Comedy.
Oh, yeah, that's a big goddamn room.
And it was like 200 seats.
Yeah.
And there was 20 people there. So instead of sitting the audience in the venue, when the seats, they put chairs on stage and they made us perform to them, like back to front.
So the audience is watching you with a giant empty room behind you.
Yeah, exactly. Like, there's where you should have been.
Yeah, because as comedians, we know the best thing to have for a room is like a packed room with a low ceiling.
Yeah.
This is the opposite of this. This is a giant void behind you that absorbs all sound.
Yeah. And I think that is me literally turning around and saying, "Look at that, this is ridiculous." And then the cameraman was there. Because I've still got the mic in my hand. I'm not like showing off.
Yeah.
It's like the people doing those big venues with all the audience. They're showing off. There's 20 people on the stage that's only supposed to have me on. It's the opposite of showing off. I hate that.
Wow. And they don't look happy either. Like they don't.
Yeah,
look
there's
like,
a lot of crossed arms.
They look annoyed that they were brought onto the stage.
Yeah.
Maybe what you should have done is you should have gone into the audience in the darkness. And they just heard jokes.
Just heard. Yeah, like that's pretty good. Yeah.
They would have
given them a podcast.
Can I get those 20 people as a guest for next week, Hugh, and we'll get them all to come in here and sit here. Wow, that's so intense to do that.
Yeah.
There was a comedy club in Dublin where, excuse me, called the International, where the room held maybe 80 people, but they would sometimes like to put 120 people in that room.
Yeah.
And I remember the maddest thing ever was that the guy who ran it put seats just behind the acts.
Yeah.
So there was a room full of like 100 people watching a comedian, but they were also being stared at by the 8 people sitting behind them.
Yeah.
And those people weren't getting a show. They were looking at the back of a comedian.
Yeah. And there was no mic back then, right?
No, there was no mic. Yeah. God, I forgot about that. There was no
a mic now. They've got
There's a microphone now,
Yeah.
I believe. They literally put that microphone in the week before COVID started. Not saying it's connected.
It may be.
But it seems
We're
like
not
it
saying
is.
it's not connected.
I'm saying it's
that's
definitely
crucial
connected now. Now that you've given me backup, I'm saying it's definitely connected.
yeah.
That's what caused COVID.
In a place called the International. Yeah. I think it's connected. Wake up, sheeple. That's an interesting outfit I've got there. Skinny jeans. I used to always wear a suit jacket when I started out. I thought that's what a comedian looked like.
Oh yeah, I mean there was so many styles from the 2010s that people adopted. There was a lot of people wearing waistcoats like Russell Brand and doing none of the other stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember seeing a lot of that where people would look like a maitre d' or someone.
There's a real link between waistcoats and sexual deviance, I reckon. A lot of magicians got the waistcoat. Those fucking card-carrying kid botherers.
not a fan of magicians?
I hate them. They're creeps.
I mean, they are. I don't like magicians.
I like magic. I hate magicians.
Have you ever had to gig with magicians?
Yeah. One, last Fringe, and the one who's such a douche, showed up after the gig had started and was like, can I do my tech? And I was like, no, the show's began. And then he didn't shake my hand coming on stage.
Really?
Because he was pissed off at me. I was like, you showed up late, dickhead. I'm just
It's a
hosting.
good thing you didn't, because if you had, his hand comes off, there's a big pile of flowers underneath.
I start crying. He's like, here, let me get you a tissue.
This is a nightmare. Okay, well, that's a great picture to see. We've also got questions from social media that we're going to go through.
Oh, wow.
So question number 1 is, what's a skill? Hold on. Let's make
It's
it very
like
dramatic.
a talent that somebody has.
What's a skill you have always wanted to learn but never had the time to?
I guess juggling's the first one that comes to mind. I've tried. I think
That's
just
so close to being a magician. In my head.
I want to dabble.
It sounds like you were very upset because you were upset with that guy for turning up late because you wanted to watch him do his tech run.
Yeah.
Like, I want to see what a magician does.
Yeah. I feel like it'd be just a nice one to have in the back burner, a bit of juggling.
Also, if you drop something, it feels like that's going to be a skill.
Yeah.
You're going to be better able to grab things, catch things.
I'm not dexterous enough. I wanted to do the coin going across your knuckles. I always thought that was really cool.
Oh, yeah, and it rolls
like a
back
sort
and
of
forth.
pirate or a devious character.
Yeah, but then you have to start making evil plans. That comes as part of
It
it.
does, yeah. I'd
People
have a
go-
toothpick in my mouth, probably.
Yeah. Someone comes in the room and goes, Gareth,
Yeah.
the magician is on his way. And you go,
Good. Send him in. He thinks he's meeting a 14-year-old boy. But it will be I.
walks in, where's the birthday boy? There'll be no birthday boy. Wow, juggling. Any other skills
Yeah, I
you
guess.
go
I
for?
don't know. Was that any other skill?
Any other skills besides juggling? Like, have you ever wanted to speak a language?
I've been learning Gaelic.
Oh, really?
Yeah, for the past year and a half, and it's pointless as it is hard.
Yeah.
Really
Is
difficult.
there any plan to do anything with it? Would you
Well,
do-
what I
try
wanted
a
to
little
do
comedy?
was I pitched a show to the BBC where it was me learning Gaelic from scratch and then performing a set in Gaelic.
That'd be amazing.
But it's really hard because the sentence structure is back to front, so I don't even know how the jokes would work.
oh, yeah.
Like
yeah.
punchlines would come first. So like it doesn't even make sense. Like I don't think they have a sense of humor up there.
Yeah.
They
Jokes-
can't. They surely can't because they'll just be like, "My mother, knock knock." And they'll say, "What? What do you mean?"
What do you mean? Yeah, it's terrible up there. Magic makes no sense there either. You just
No.
pick a card and then put it back into a pack and they go,
Yeah,
that's it. That's
yeah, it's
the end.
lost now,
It's gone forever.
Yeah.
You're done.
and they burn you as a witch.
Yeah, that's true. That's an important thing that we forgot about.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe you could bring that as a show to the BBC. Gareth Waugh burns people as a
Yeah,
witch.
yeah. Bring back witch stuff. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
into that.
I mean, that's weirdly popular now.
Yeah.
Like you see the Salem, Massachusetts, that's 90% of their tourism is people coming in and celebrating the witch burnings and things like that. And they're
Yeah.
like, oh, witches, oh, this. And you're like, you have to go at the end of the day. They weren't witches, though. They were mentally ill women or just
Yeah.
women that didn't want to be married to their husbands anymore. They're like, burn them.
Yeah, mentally ill or too clever.
Yeah, that's another one.
They're like, no, actually.
Oh, she's figured out how to become the mayor of the town. Sounds to me like witchcraft.
Why don't we just do this?
Put
Like,
to one of your ancestors rolling a coin.
yeah.
Kind of sounds burn her.
let's see if she weighs the same as a duck. Have you a witch burn her? I won't make fun of Salem too much. I mean, that's mostly Edinburgh's history as well.
Yeah. But Edinburgh hides it a little bit.
We used to hang people here. Anyway, there's a castle.
I believe Scotland is the place where they killed the most amount of witches.
We had the most witches.
But they also don't sell T-shirts that say, I'm the
Witch
daughter
burners
of
number one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like the people wearing T-shirts saying like the daughters of the witches that didn't get burnt. You're like, they weren't. There's no witches. What are you talking about? It sounds like you're saying the ones that were burnt.
Yeah.
That was fine. That was good. That's not. Or they were the idiots.
That's real funny. The T-shirt thing's great. Like having merch at a witch burning.
Yeah.
Like witches get stitches.
One of those little foam fingers, but you use it to accuse people of being a witch.
Get your cauldrons.
Question number 2 we have you ever written a poem, and what was that poem about? Probably as a kid, right?
Yeah. Oh, God. One time I wrote a poem we had to write in primary school, and I grew up in a town called Roslyn, and I did it like one of those ones where it's like the first letter is R, and then the second sentence begins with O, and it's Roslyn down the side.
Yeah.
And it got published in a book that I never got any money for. And I can remember some of it. It was like R is for the river that runs through the glen, O is for the original where people meet now and then, which was the pub. S is for the streets that make up this lovely town. L is for the lovely people, I think, or something like that. I can't remember. But recently I wrote a poem. I did a Burns night.
Yeah.
And I did my own version of the To a Mouse.
Yeah.
Or To a Moose, sorry.
Yeah.
Where it was a story about a mouse eating a bunch of edibles in my flat. And me just like vibing with this mouse. I was like, here you daft wee moose, what you doing inside my house, scritching, scratching, running about, all your noises are getting on my doot. Chasing mice, no my favourite hobby, cupboards full of daft wee jobbies, worse when I find them in my bed, and I'm going to kick wee Jerry's head in. Then one day I noticed something terrible, a hole in the packet, all my edibles. If there's any poets in, they're medical. Locally sourced, fair trade and ethical.
Wow.
I can't believe how much of that I remember.
Wow.
I only performed it once.
I thought I was going to ask this question. Have you ever written a poem? You're going to go, no? I thought that was what you were going to say.
I hate poetry as well. Poets are fucking maybe creepier than magicians.
Wow.
And I did a play once in the Fringe that Keir McAllister wrote, and it was all in rhyme. Mm-hmm. And it was about Scottish independence. So it was me, Jojo Sutherland, Vladimir McTavish, and every line like rhymed. So sometimes I'd finish one and they would start like a new rhyme, and then I would finish the rhyme on their part.
Yeah.
So you couldn't miss any lines at all.
Oh, wow.
And it made it harder to act because you're trying to rhyme the whole time, but also make it seem sort of real. It was pretty weird. I was basically a therapist, and they were Scotland and the United Kingdom arguing. Mm-hmm. And it turned out I was their son at the end and stuff. It was pretty mad.
But yeah, quite intense. You can't mess up because it will mess up.
And I remember once, like, my head just started wandering, and then they turned and looked at me, and I went, oh, God, no. It's my line. And it maybe was like a 3-second beat.
Yeah.
But I was like, I'm normally quicker here.
Yeah.
And it finally came. That's maybe the worst I've ever felt on stage.
Oh, God, yeah. There's something about forgetting lines or forgetting something.
Just two people turning to look at you on stage. It's like, I think that would be the scariest thing, like if you're walking down the street and then suddenly everyone stops and just looks at you. Like 200 people just go, you'd be like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
There was that on stage, but also there was an audience looking, and I would say, oh, no. It's definitely my turn.
And they've also sensed something's gone wrong here.
Yeah, for half a second.
Yeah, because when you're doing stand-up, you can kind of scene that out. You can kind of move on and say something. But yeah, when two other people are looking at you, you're like,
good, we need you to help us here.
Yeah,
I'm
I
like,
fucked
I've
this
nothing.
up.
Yeah.
Would have been a perfect moment there to start doing some juggling.
Yeah. Coin.
Pull the coin out, perfect.
Yeah, it's a good thinking measure, the coin, isn't it? You could do it with your pensive, but...
Yeah, people would think in the audience,
well,
like,
this therapist just got cool.
yeah.
And evil.
Turns back and he got sunglasses and a cocktail stick in his mouth, and you're like,
maybe try not being such a pussy. How about that? Stop telling me about your feelings.
Our third and final question for the community is, oh God, favorite nut.
What?
Favorite nut is the question. What's your favorite nut? Now,
To bust or
I see. I thought you were too much of a sweetheart. I thought you were too much of a quirky,
Nope.
silly goose to go there.
No. If there's low hanging fruit, I'll take it.
Oh,
Especially
God.
on a pod. Favorite
I mean,
nut.
let's do both.
Favorite nut to bust. Airport toilet, very good. Right
That is so
before a
specific.
flight.
In between flights.
Yeah. Just trying to lower my carbon footprint, make the plane weigh a bit less, you know.
Pilot comes down, shakes your hand. Thank you for your service.
No problem, sir. Yeah, it's all right. Favorite actual nut. I like an almond.
Almonds are good. You know, you've got
Pretty underrated.
delicious taste. If you put chocolate on them, they taste even better, and you get milk out of them.
That's true.
That's great.
I don't want to know how they do that, but I know they do.
Concept. I don't know where the teat is on an almond,
First one to do that, that's crazy.
but I think a lot of the other nuts. I famously hate peanut butter.
You do?
Yeah, it's become a thing on the internet with me not liking peanut butter because I just don't like it. It's just disgusting. What? Do you like peanut butter?
I quite like it, yeah.
That taste, man, it's so
Peanutty.
dry.
Yeah, it's very salty,
It's so salty,
creamy.
No,
First time I had it, I have to admit, I was like, what the fuck? But now I
Yeah.
quite like it.
well, I've had
And
almond
it feels
butter.
healthy. Almond butter? Is
I've
that
had
right?
almond butter recently, and that's delicious. That's great.
wow, okay.
So I don't know
Just
what
not a
the deal
peanut
is.
guy.
I guess I'm just not a peanut guy, but I also remember when I was a kid, there was a kid in my no matter what school I was in or class I was in, there was always one kid that stank of peanut butter at all times.
Wow.
And would eat peanut butter sandwiches and was like just the grossest kid in the class.
Yeah,
I don't know.
what a sticky kid.
Just a sticky, gross kid. Pens would stick to him. You'd give him a pen, it would disappear, and you would see it would be stuck to the back of his
Yeah.
shirt or something. And you'd be like, oh, okay, that's connected in my brain.
Did you, in Ireland, sorry if this is like a
Oh,
horrible
God.
question, would
All
you
right,
just go
let
to
me
like
prep.
duking for apples in Halloween?
Yeah.
So like apple, but it was always apples and like monkey nuts,
Yeah.
which as prizes go,
Yeah.
fucking dreadful.
Terrible.
Kids were excited for it as well.
Yeah.
Like, I've won an apple. It was that's some wartime shit. That I can't imagine kids are into that now. They'd be like, I don't want an apple. I want an apple elf bar. Great.
I'm going to add some questions because I've decided some stuff. I want to ask what is the worst thing you ever got on Halloween trick-or-treating?
Banana.
Banana?
Yeah. I remember getting a banana and being like, what the fuck is this? What is this?
Because if you go early enough, you might get like one of those toffee apples or something.
Yeah.
You might get like what would be your favorite thing to get? On
Money.
Halloween? Money?
Yeah. We used to always go to this like rich street near us and they were never really prepared because we're kind
they
of a bit
just-
far away.
Yeah.
And so they would just give you money.
Wow.
And we'd like come away with like 30, 40 quid.
That's amazing. Holy
Yeah,
shit. I
the best
remember
night of the
one
year.
time going
And then
around
we would
and
egg the houses afterwards.
Yeah. Well, that's of course.
Yeah.
I mean, fuck the Tories.
Yeah. Life's
But,
about balance.
Yeah. I remember somebody gave me 10p once.
Wow.
Just went, and there you go. Don't have any candy left. There's 10p. But he was holding the candy and he was clearly eating it.
Yeah.
Or clearly he had started watching movies and he just didn't
Oh,
want
that
to
guy
give it
was
away.
so high.
Probably.
He's
Didn't
like, I
realize it.
can't get rid of this. This is too valuable.
Yeah, and so he's like, silver coin for you. What is that, £1 million? And it's like, it's 10
Learn to roll it over your knuckles. You'll go places, kid.
What is the best and worst costume you ever wore for Halloween?
Oh, I remember one year I wore a Charlie Chaplin costume, but then the party got cancelled, so I was just in my house dressed as Charlie Chaplin. Full shebang, like mustache,
That's pretty
little cane.
great
Yeah.
costume, though, because you
Full
can be
thing.
quirky in the house. You can wiggle the mustache. You can spin
Well, I
the
remember
stick.
just like putting it on, and my mate was, it's cancelled. I was all right, and I just stayed in it for the rest of the day. I once went as like a baby to a high school party, and it had like one of those ass flaps.
Yeah.
Pretty good. Back in the early 2000s, you could show a bit of ass, and it was
Yeah.
all fine.
I remember as a kid when the Flintstones movie came out, I dressed up because they gave away like a Fred Flintstone T-shirt that like looked like Fred Flintstone's. You
Yeah.
know, had the like ripped clothing at the bottom. But I was like committed to it, so Mom was like, "Oh, you need to wear like shorts or something." And I was like, "No, Fred Flintstone is naked underneath there, and
Of course he
should
is.
I. And so should I be.
He's always ready to fuck.
So I just went out trick or treating as a naked child,
Yeah.
with just this T-shirt that just barely hung down below it.
Fred Flintstone's a bad dude, man. He hates his wife.
He does. He does.
It's pretty messed up.
It's weird because there's a show in America called The Honeymooners,
Oh,
That's,
yeah.
It's
To the moon.
yes, that they just took that show and then just remade it.
Yeah.
And stole the idea, and that's what the Flintstones is. There was a TV show called Sergeant Bilko. They remade that into Top Cat.
That's right.
They just
oh my
ripped
God.
off everything. It's very,
Oh
very
my
weird.
God, I didn't even connect any of those.
Yeah, they're the exact same show. Because Top Cat's like, hey, boy, Yoda. It's like
Yeah.
that's the guy Phil Silvers that used to be in that show. Like,
Of course, yeah. I've just remembered my best Halloween costume that I think you'll really appreciate.
okay.
One year I went as Ryan Cullen.
Sorry,
A couple of years
for
ago.
people watching at home, we're going to put a picture up of Ryan Cullen right now.
Yeah.
That's not even a costume. That's a real guy.
Yeah.
I know people right now are like, is that guy dressed as a zombie for Halloween? That's how he looks.
That's
all
just
the
how
time.
he looks. I thought, what's the scariest thing I could dress as in my head when Ryan Cullen? And I got a movie grade bald cap. It took an hour to like apply all this stuff. And then like got like a shit checkered shirt and showed up to his house. And he went, are you me? And I went, yeah. And he went, that's great. But I don't think he did think it was great. I think he was hurt. I think I've got a photo of the two of us next to each other that I can maybe send him.
Oh my God! If you have,
I think I should have
there
it
right
somewhere.
now. And
Yeah.
if it's not, it's a picture of you in your costume as a child.
Yeah, it's just Ryan Cullen and one mirrored in the same photo.
Yeah, I could imagine Ryan just watching you from across the party, just trying to figure out like, that can't be
Is
what
this
I look like.
offensive or what? Yeah, yeah.
Do people think that's a good look?
I bought these shoes specifically for it. I'm wearing right now
Oh,
because he's
wow.
always got Sambas on, so I bought Sambas.
I like the idea that you're like, I'm going to buy his ridiculous shoes, and you try them on. Oh, these are actually really
They're
comfortable.
great. They're so you could wear them to a funeral or five-a-side.
This is the most comfortable way to be a ghoul.
It is, yeah.
Okay, we also have questions from our previous guest. Our previous guest on the show was the wonderful Josh Jones, and Josh has sent. Oh, sorry, was it Carl? It was Carl. Yes, of course. Carl Donnelly was our last guest.
Love Carl.
We don't have the time to edit this out, so let's just pretend that didn't happen and do it again. Hey, we've got questions from.
We've got good.
We've got questions from our previous guest.
As long as I'll answer any question from any previous guest, as long as it's not Carl Donnelly. Hate that guy.
Well, thankfully, it's Josh Jones. Everybody. We've got questions from Carl Donnelly, so let's check them out right now.
Hi Gareth, Carl Donnelly here. Long time no speak. I've just got home. It's 11:30 p.m. I've got home from a gig. I'm about to have a post-gig pre-bed snack. I'm going for some leftover vegan mac and cheese. First question: what's your go-to late-night snack? Not like a dirty, drunken one, but if you get home, you just fancy a little nibble. What are you having? Number two question, and we've been on a stag do together. What's the worst thing that's happened to you on a stag do? And number three, what do you wear to bed? Are you a pyjama man? Are you a nudie? What are you saying in bed, mate? Hope you're well. Speak to you soon. Bye.
I love all those questions. I thought all great. What was the first one again? Was it late night snack?
It was late night. I will say, for me, that's very weird because I recorded the previous episode with Carl Donnelly, but I've had pneumonia this week and I have lost significant memories. I've had like memory wipe from last week. So I have no memory of recording the podcast. So that looks like somebody I've never met.
Yeah,
and I
right.
know I've recorded. We did an episode, right? That happened. I have no memory of it at all.
It's
So-
really beautiful that you consider that a significant memory. Though.
Of course. It's a big time
your
memory.
First time meeting Carl and having a chat with him.
Yeah,
Very
we'll have a
significant.
chat.
Yeah.
I feel like we must have had a good time.
Yeah.
Or we had a fight, but these two aren't telling me.
Yeah, right.
So question number one was, what's your go-to late night snack?
I think it's pretty boring. I've got two options. Crisps. I'd love crisps so much. Like so much.
Favorite crisp?
Well, this is a great question. I do like, I always go for the big grab bag and I'll eat the whole thing. I'm an absolute pig. I think Walker's Thai Sweet Chili Sensation is the king of crisps.
Wow.
Very new money
Yeah, it really
as a
is.
crisp. Yeah. Kettle
don't think
chips,
I've
that's like an
ever-
old, that's like old.
I don't think I've ever had those.
Wow.
Yeah.
You've never lived.
I also don't really like Walkers. I'm Irish, so we like Tato. And
Yeah, Tato's great.
That's a whole
I get
thing.
that you like Tato because you have a whole theme park based on crisps, which
we do.
I think these are fantastic people.
It's pretty
into
great.
it. I like crisps. There's also this chicken that you can get from Costco by a company called CP, and it's flaming hot chicken tenders, and I could eat them forever.
Wow. And they're crisps.
No, sorry, not crisps. They're chicken
they're just
fillet.
like chicken fillet things.
Yeah. They're so good. I'm addicted. But
Yeah.
crisp, man, fuck, I love crisps so much. Where do you stand on Pringles? Are they a crisp?
Pringles are all right. People say once you pop, you can't stop. I can stop. I can easily stop. I can stop anytime. I think they're all right, but I think they're overrated still, and they're overpriced.
Have you seen the movie Soul?
Yes.
Right. There's a point in that where I think twice they say, stop eating potato chips. They'll give you cancer. They'll kill you.
Oh yeah.
And it really ruined the movie for me. I was like, what a sweet movie about a jazz man. They're like, don't eat crisps. I was like, well, fuck that. Jazz sucks. And you suck. And I'm glad you're dead, actually.
Yeah, you don't want that in the middle of a Pixar movie to just be like, did you know that most people are murdered by someone they know? Like, Jesus Christ.
Something to think about, kids. Anyway.
In WALL-E? Why would they say this in WALL-E? Yeah. Question number 2 is, what's the worst thing that has happened to you on a stag do?
Right. I thrive on a stag do.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I think a lot of people would say, I'm quite diminutive as a man. Diminutive? Yeah. Is that what I said? Or I don't know.
Yeah.
But I can drink like fuck. Like,
Yeah.
I am a really good drinker. It's one of my big skills.
Yeah.
There was one time on that stag do with Carl, and I think this is what he's trying to get me to talk about. We were playing beer pong with this sangria, and we've been drinking for 11 hours already at this point. And a comedian made this sangria, and it was so strong that we tasted it, and we all agreed, look, if you get got once, that's you out the game. And Ryan Cullen got me straight away, and I went, well, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I need to have at least a throw. So I neck it. I have 6 more. Cullen is unbelievable at beer pong, it turns out.
Yes, I know this very well.
Oh, really?
There's a video of me and him playing beer pong, and he can't not get the pong into the beer.
He's unbelievable.
Unfucking believable.
So 11 hours drinking, I nailed 6 sangrias, turbo sangrias, really fast. I'm smoking at the time. I flicked my cigarette at Cullen, like, fuck you. He catches it and takes a draw and goes, I don't even smoke. It's maybe the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life from the least cool looking man. He goes there, I don't even smoke. And he has asthma, so it really fucked him up to do that. I don't remember anything for the rest of the night.
Oh, God.
Apparently I was trying to fight them all in a jokey way. And then I got put to bed. And I remember waking up in the middle of the night, and I was so drunk, I was like a turtle. I could not get off the bed. I just couldn't. I was trying my best. Couldn't get out of bed at all.
Yeah.
So, but I really need to piss. So what I did was, there was 2 beds pushed together that I was on, because they didn't really trust me to stay in a bed. I just rolled onto my side, pulled my penis out, and pissed on the other bed. And then in the morning, everyone... Anyway, toxic masculinity. In the morning, the boys came to check. I'm greeted. I wake up, and just above my head is the faces of Daniel Sloss and Kai Humphries. It was Kai Humphries' stag. They're just hovering above me. They're like, morning, mate, you all right? And I was like, good. What is it? I'm still drunk. And they're like, do you remember last night? And I'm like, not very well. And then one of them sat on the bed and went, why is the bed wet? I went, oh, I pissed on that. And they went, you pissed the bed? And I went, no, you're not listening. I pissed on the bed.
Yeah.
I didn't piss the bed. And they went, you were sleeping and you pissed the bed. I went, that's not true. I took my own penis out and pissed. That's not pissing yourself.
This is a bed-to-bed attack. This is
I'm
not in
fully
the bed.
aware of what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I'm not just lying pissing. The penis has come out. I think that's a very important distinction.
Yeah.
I've pissed a bed. I've not pissed the bed.
The bed, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, that gets brought up quite a lot.
This isn't a mistake. This is a maneuver. This was tactical.
I had to.
Yeah.
I could have pissed the bed, but I refused to.
Yeah.
I
would
pissed
disturb your
a
sleep.
bed. Yeah. I wanted to get up, could not.
I mean, I think if someone had been sleeping in that bed next to your bed, I think they would have got pissed on. I think that's
They
what
would
happened.
have,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
thankfully nobody was there. I've got my stag do coming up. I got engaged in February.
Yeah.
And I'm quite worried about it.
Of course.
Very worried, because my mates are not good people.
Yeah. Well, also because you've gone crazy on other stags, the assumption is
They'll be
yours
like,
is
you
gonna
can
be the
handle it.
craziest
Yeah,
ever.
yeah. Yeah, maybe, I don't know.
People are going to try to be the Gareth Waugh of you. of Gareth Waugh's stag?
But well, please do. I would really appreciate somebody else carrying the weight.
Oh my God, 16 people pissing on a bed.
I think it's really interesting. Stag do's are such a weird thing, like the amalgamation of everybody's friends. There's bound to be people that don't get on.
Absolutely, from completely different backgrounds. You've got real world people, comedy people.
Yeah. I've been on a stag do before where the class was there. I was a different class to everybody else.
Oh,
They
yeah.
were much upper class compared to me, and I showed up expecting like a stag, you know.
Yeah.
And I was like, right, I'll get the first drink in. 2 people ordered a latte, which
Jesus.
I'm from a little working class town. You don't really do that sort of
No,
shit. Do you know
no,
what I mean? Right? And I was like, okay, fine, whatever. And it was just really wholesome. It was really active. We were like we went mountain biking and
I hate a
paintballing.
wholesome stag.
I shot the best man at paintball. Like they were doing this thing where they were meant to run across.
Yeah.
And the best man was walking over to the stag, and me and 2 other people were like, we should shoot him now. That's funny. And we all shot. There was like 3 of us shot.
Yeah.
And one of them hit him right in the back of the head, and he went down and he starts screaming. He was like, who the fuck was that? And the whole place goes tens. And I just go, well, I was one of them. And then the instructor's like, well, you've got to now take his place. And the guy was so angry with me. Fair enough, it must have hurt.
Yeah.
But on a stag do with my mates, that would have been like, that was funny, ha ha ha.
Yeah, of
everyone
course.
moves on. But it was tense for the rest. I really alienated myself with these people that I barely knew.
Who's that guy that won't drink a latte and then shoots us in the back of the
That
head?
guy's drunk and he's shooting people. But yeah, it's a fucking stag do.
This guy's out of control.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
I think he pissed one of the beds.
That's exactly what I was going for as well. Real race there to get to that. Okay, well, question number 3 is, speaking of beds, what do you wear to bed, Carl asked?
I am a pajama person. Sometimes, like, I'll just wear boxes if it's very hot. But I like a trouser and normally a football top. I'm wearing. Yeah. And I didn't realise that was, like, weird until it was maybe a year ago. My partner was like, it's quite weird you wear pyjamas. And I went, what do you mean? And she went, like, most men sleep in their boxers.
Yeah.
She went, not you. And I went, what's the accusation here? She went, I'm just pointing out stuff that's going on.
Yeah.
I don't like your tone one bit.
She's like, you're a fancy little boy.
I felt like, it felt very emasculating.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. I did not feel good about it.
Because it's not about what society wants. It's about what you want. It's about what you're comfortable
Well,
with.
if a spooky ghost shows up, I don't want to be in my boxers. That's crazy.
Also, yeah, you're the man of the house. If a fire breaks out or someone breaks in, you have to jump out of bed.
Yeah.
You can't jump out in your boxers.
I think the people that sleep in the nude are low-level creeps.
Oh, absolutely.
Why do you need to be so free?
It's too much.
What's
and
going
you
on?
know they're pulling the quilt back in the middle of the night and putting that butt up in the air.
You get scratchy arse in the middle
Oh
of the night.
no, I hope there's no ghosts in the room. It would be terrible if they saw
My
this.
butt's hanging out, yeah. I don't even like my feet being out of the duvet. That's crazy.
Yeah, I get throwing the quilt off yourself if you want.
Yeah.
To cool off a little bit in the night. But
What if you're fully naked?
yeah.
What if somebody walks in?
Yeah, I remember I had
Policeman.
Hello, just doing my rounds.
Well, it's moving his truncheon around, you know, swinging about.
Anybody pissing
Oi,
from
oi,
one
oi.
bed to another bed in here?
Yeah. Well, if the dirt man shows up, you know?
Yeah. I mean, ghosts at any point could show up.
Any point. That's the thing with ghosts.
That's the thing.
That's one of their skills.
It's their favorite
Somebody asked
thing.
about skills. I would like to show up like a ghost.
You put ghosts showing up on a calendar. That ghost.
They probably won't.
No, not a chance.
No, you've got to
But
get a
the night-
Ouija board to get them out. Very weird communication method, a Ouija board.
Yeah. I remember, I don't know if I said this before, when I was a kid, one of my friends got a Ouija board and I was afraid, so I didn't go over to their house. And the Monday morning at school, I was like, oh, who did you just contact? And they're like, oh, we were contacted three ghosts. And I was like, oh, who are the 3 ghosts? And they were like, well, Adolf Hitler, Princess Diana, and the Scat Man.
Yeah, you can't get rid of those 3.
Yeah, of course.
They're hanging out
Those
in
3
hell.
that, of course, hang out together.
Yeah.
And also, I just love the idea of the Scat Man of just spelling out
Please do another scat for me. Yeah, it's quite.
Scat's got to be the worst thing for a ghost to do when you're trying to speak like that on the little board.
Yeah, you're like, so this is gibberish. What are they going on about?
I've just spelled out B dappa badabo 15 times in a
Yeah.
row.
What does that mean?
So when did you start wearing pajamas in bed?
I think I've always done it.
Always worn pajamas.
I think so. I can't really recall a time where I didn't.
Has there been a time where you've attempted, like, look, let's start seeing if I can be nude in bed?
I think I've done nude like once, maybe, and that's drunk.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like a conscious decision.
It does make it incredibly funny that the idea that you pissed from one bed into another while wearing like a Victorian little hat.
Yeah.
With like one of those candles. What's that? Someone pissed from one bed to another? Couldn't
Get
be
them?
me.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah. I mean, I was in a nightgown, so I just pulled it up.
Standing on one bed.
Just pulled it right up. Held it like a little, like a, you know, like how a 3-year-old pisses. You see them in the urinal, they hold their
Held it
t-shirt
up like me dressed as Fred Flintstone on
trousers at the
Halloween.
ankles. Yeah, just you know, people piss.
Yeah. Okay, wow. Well, we found out a lot about you. We found out about your sleep schedule. We found out about some of your favorite foods, skills you hate and love, the poems as well. Is there anything you've coming up that you would like to tell people about at home? Please pitch it to the camera. Let them know.
This one right here.
Your wonderful camera right there.
Yeah. The Fringe, I guess. I'm going to be doing the Fringe. I wouldn't come this year. I've barely wrote it, so it's probably shit. 60 days away, and I'm nowhere near. So up to you. I'll be at the International in Dublin, since we mentioned that.
Oh, wow.
June. I think end of June.
Have you been there since the pandemic ended?
Yes, I have.
Wow.
Yeah,
I haven't gone back there yet.
Oh wow, yeah, it's pretty good. I'll be there. Manchester next weekend, 7th and 8th. I don't know. Do what you want. Look me up. You don't have to do any of this. This is probably enough for me, actually.
Yeah,
I'd say if you've seen me on this pod, that's enough. You don't.
It's actually done. So if you message or if you follow Gareth, we'll find out and we'll be livid about it.
Yeah,
don't do that.
You can get all my tour dates at Jamie H Hutchinson, and you can find them there.
Well, for those of you watching the show, thank you for watching the show. Please, if you enjoyed it, share the show around, leave reviews online. All of it massively helps us out. If you ever want to come see comedy live at Monkey Barrel Comedy, the show's every night of the week from myself, from Gareth, from producer Claire, from Tech Ewan. We just want to say goodbye and enjoy the rest of your week. Bye bye.
We're waving.
We're waving.
Bye.
Bye.
There's something hiding under the ice, imitation of a sound. There's something standing behind the door. Would you like